So I'm going to tell you a story about raising young adult children, and it's going to take a while, so hang in there. It's a bumpy ride. But I was taking my 20-year-old son to get his last minute back to school items, Costco, Target. And as we're leaving the Target, he says, I have to make one more quick stop. I said, okay, where are we going? He said, I have to go to an alteration place. And I said, what on earth are you getting altered? And he said, well, I bought 6 t-shirts and I need them to be altered. I said, why are you altering t-shirts? He said, well, I had to get the large t-shirts because I have very large chest muscles, but I need them shorter. So I'm going to take them to a woman who is going to shorten them for me so they fit me better. I said, how much is she going to charge you to alter t-shirts? And he said, $15 a shirt. I said, what? I said, how much did these shirts cost in the first place? He said, well, they're $30 each and $15 to be altered. I said, so you're telling me at this point, you're now going to be $45 in times 6 for t-shirts? He said, yes, I like what I like. Okay. And I said, okay. All right, let's go. It's your money. Let's go do this thing. So he starts driving, and we're probably driving another 15, 20 minutes away from our home, right? And so we finally arrive, and he drops off the shirts, and I look at him and I say, do you know how to get home from here? And he said, obviously, yes. I said, okay, no problem. So he leaves, and we start driving, and I start to notice the ocean. And I can tell you that we don't live by the ocean. And I see the surf, the sun, the sand, the seagulls, the shells. I see people having a day at the beach. And I look at my son and I say, do you know where you're going? And he said, yes, I know where I'm going. You don't need to keep asking me. I said, okay. So at this point, I know we are going the wrong way. So I start texting my husband. I said, this child has no clue where he's going. He is driving us further and further and further away from home. My husband says, yes, I see you on the Life 360. You're about an hour away now. We're an hour away. We're an hour away. I say nothing at this point. I say absolutely nothing. Finally, after we've hit the 3rd or 4th pier that's going out into the ocean as we're driving past and seeing these families having a wonderful day at the beach, he says, uh-oh. And he pulls over and he checks his phone and he said, we've been going in the wrong direction. I said, have we, Magellan? Have we been going in the wrong direction this whole time? He said, I'm going to need you to calm down. He said, you're going to need to look at this situation as the glass half full, okay? He said, would you have seen the beach today if I had not gotten us lost? I said, son, I told you to check a map before you left. You did not know where we were going. He said, just be happy that I drove you out to look at the beautiful scenery that God has created. You got to see the sun, the surf, the sand, the shells, the seagulls. This is a good day. I said, okay. All right. I love you so much, son. Magellan, do me a solid and put our home address in the map. And take me home, please. I love my children. I love my children.